Hello, greetings, lovely yogis, mindful yogis. Gonna start this week's class in lying down on the mat in Shavasana. So you want to come into lying on your back, Shavasana, the corpse pose. So letting the legs rest nice and wide apart, dropping down through the shoulders. Hands are out by the sides of the body. And when you come into this position, you just take in your time to let the body settle. And we'll just gently lift the right foot up a little, point through the toes, push through the heel, exhale out, drop. And then lift the left foot up a little, point through the toes, push through the heel, exhale out, drop. And we're just getting straight into this. We squeeze the glutes and all of the muscles in the legs, and then exhale, let them drop. Inhale, lift through the tummy. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift through the rib cage and chest. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift through both hands, make a fist. Stretch out the fingers, exhale, let them drop. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders to the ears. Exhale, push them away and drop them down. Then gently roll the head over to one side, exhale it to the other, and inhale back to center. And then squeeze the muscles, make a tight face, and exhale, let go. Open your mouth and give everything a little stretch. And then we're just going to float down into the breath. And I'm going to let you keep doing that while I'm talking. So you're just watching that breath coming and going. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the theme of the class. So just continuing to be aware of the weight of the body dropping down into the floor and the breath coming and going. And my intention for the class tonight is to focus on the throat chakra, which is our fifth chakra, and it's our fifth class in the series. And the throat chakra is often described as being about communication. It's seen as being blue in color. For me, a lot of the time, that communication is listening. So you know me, I talk a lot. And sometimes the most important thing we can do is to turn down the volume of everything else and tune inwards and listen inwards. So it's very easy to talk about the truth, like big truths, like, truth of our society and all these kind of things. But really, let's start with practicing that kind of wisdom of knowing our own truth. How is my right leg? How am I feeling? Where's my energy? What do I need? Looking after our own, this little human self we have in this world at this time. And listening and tuning in. Doesn't mean we don't listen to the big picture as well, but we know where we're coming from at it and what we have to give to it. And so I would invite you now as well to make your own intention for your yoga practice, what you'd like to work on. And then from here, we're going to very gently just draw the legs together. And we're going to start with feeling how strong our body is and getting into our physical body, pushing away our heels, stretching our arms up, giving ourselves a nice big stretch. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to draw the hands down by the sides, and we'll do just a couple of little bit of core work here just to kind of strengthen up. So we can bring the hands into fists and place them slightly underneath the bum, which will help us with this. And then we're going to stretch the legs up towards the ceiling. And we're flattening our low back on the mat to keep it nice and supported. And then we're going to leave the left leg where it is, and we're going to float the right leg almost to the ground. And then we're going to draw it back up again. I do that 2 more times. I'm just noticing how that's feeling. And the rest of the body. And in the mind, you're thinking, oh no, this is going to be a strong one. And then when you've done 3 on that side, just stop for a moment in the center. And then we move over to the other side. Drawing the left leg down to almost the bottom and then up to the top again. And that's it, like you're bringing that control down and up. And then one more time on the left side. And then when you come up this time, you've got an option now. Well, you can have a little break, especially nobody watching you. I'm watching you, I know. We're going to push through the heels, either to do the same thing again, 1, 1, do 2 on each side, or let's go down with both legs. See if we can slowly go down. The slower you go, the harder it is. See how you go, nice and steady. And then try not to touch them off the floor and then draw them all the way back up again. So really doing very strong core work here in a nice, mindful way. Of course, if there's any issues or soreness at the lower back at all, don't, just skip this bit. Because we want to make sure what we're using to lift our legs up and down is our tummy muscles and our lower back is supported. So when you've done the 3 that you're on, you can release out everything, go and let yourself just come back into that lying Shavasana, into that relaxation pose, and notice how different it feels now, even just after that small little bit of work. Often when we come to the mat and we lie down first, we're still holding, and as we work through the body, we'll find ourselves ready to let go a little more into it. So getting that lovely sense of support from the floor, we're going to move now on up. So we're going to take the feet out to the sides and rock and roll a little bit. Again, see how you feel it. If you're like headachy and icky and not feeling like rock and roll anywhere, just come up your own way, or we can just roll to the side and we're back into sitting. So we're going to take a moment here to bring the feet together into our Cobbler Pose, Baddha Konasana. We're sitting on our sit bones. The soles of the feet are touching. Now we're going to draw the soles of the feet inwards and hold onto the ankles and lift up through the chest. And maybe close the eyes for a moment and notice how I feel. Am I lined up? We talked about the chakras, our base chakra, our sacral, our manipura, our solar plexus, our heart we worked on last week, and now the throat. So where's my throat in relation to my heart? Am I like bringing it forwards and protecting it? Am I sticking my chin out? Or have I got that really nice alignment where my head is carried over my heart in alignment? And then we're just going to notice our breath again. Birds have gone very quiet. And then from here, we're going to gently draw the knees together, bring the legs over to the side so that we can make our way over onto our hands and knees. And we're coming into our table pose. We're going to come into our cat-cow. We do this nearly every time, and it's such a good sequence for kind of waking up and warming up the spine a little bit. And also just toning our tummy in a nice way. So we're starting with our table pose, pushing our hands down, spreading the fingers, making sure the knees are hip width apart. And then from here, we're going to curl the tail under, lift up through the spine. So we're arching the back upwards and we're looking down. And then we're going to bring the sit bones up and the chest forward and look the other way. And last week when we were doing this, we focused in a lot on the heart and the back of the heart as we moved, if you remember. So this week with this focus on the throat, so we can have a little play here and notice the connection, like our neck is part of our spine. So if we kind of Mexican way from our tailbone all the way up through, our neck and our head should follow along. And the same, whether we're arching up into cat pose or if we are coming into our cow or counter cat and letting the sit bones rise and the chest come forward. Maybe even closing your eyes to feel that out for yourself. Noticing how you're feeling. I'm just going to do one more of those. And this time when you come back into neutral, to your table pose, staying in that table pose for a moment. And then from here, we're going to curl the toes on the right foot and stretch the right heel up and back to hip level. And then extend out through the left arm. So we're in our balancing cat. I'm taking some nice deep breaths here. Is there something I can soften or do to make myself feel more balanced here, or a little softer, a little easier? How is the back? Maybe bringing the tummy up towards the back body to feel the tummy tone, protect your core. And then release that side and come back to neutral for a moment. So before we move on to the next bit, just coming into table pose and noticing the right shoulder, the left shoulder, the right hip, the left hip, the spine, and how it feels after we've done that only on one side. And from here, we're going to curl the toes on the left foot and push back through the left heel, lift it up to hip level. This isn't too much, by the way, just bringing the toe down. And then extend out through the right arm. Try and keep a softness into the left elbow, into that, so you're not locking your elbow out. And we're going to keep the muscles working and the body active. And then from here, we're going to release that down. Hopefully things feel evened out here. And we're into our table pose. And from here, we're just going to draw the sit bones back towards the heels, stretching out through the hands. How am I in this pose? Do you need to bring the hands closer in towards you, further away? Do you want to bring your hands into fists underneath your forehead? Maybe your head is very close to the floor, or maybe it's not. So everybody's different, and this is a chance for just really paying attention to this, your one precious life, this one moment, this one pose. What's going on right now? What am I feeling right now? What's going on right now? And then you know that this pose is here for you if you need to come back down for a break, but we're going to move on, motor on up. So coming back into table pose as a transition, to curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back, and we're into downward dog, and we're stretching out through the backs of the legs, pushing with the hands into our downward dog. Nice first downward dog of the day. We won't hold it for too long. And then we're going to walk our feet. So we're going to see if we can make little baby steps and crisscross our feet and walk up to the top of the mat. When we get there, I'm going to disappear in a minute because the camera angle on a funny one. But don't worry, I'm still here. We're going to let our weight come through the toes a little bit and the front of the feet. So maybe lift the heels up, feel how that feels. And then plant the full of the feet down on the mat. See if you can keep a little bend in the knees. And see, can you send your sit bones up higher towards the ceiling? So you're trying to sit your bum up behind you on something. And then again, we'll just feel the edges, a little, and then soften off. So bend the knees, start to let your bum sit back, let the weight come into the heels. Bring the hands to kind of chest level, and then we're going to push with the feet, push with the pelvic floor, and we're going to go all the way up. I'll disappear for a moment. If you go for it, you know what to do. Stretch the hands up to the ceiling, and then you can release the hands down by the side, and you're standing in mountain pose at the top of your mat. And so we're going to flow with this idea of, when do you see me there? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to flow with this idea of a sense of moving through with a sense of truth. Where am I at? How am I feeling? Listening to your own body. You know the sun sleeps well enough now, I think, as well, that you can do it without having to kind of keep watching me or listening to me. Well, please do listen to me, but yeah. And so you can let yourself focus a little more on what's your body, your own inner teacher, what's your guide telling you. Okay, so we're going to start in that mountain pose at the top of the mat. Hands are in prayer position. We're going to bring them up here. And then we're going to take a tiny little mini chair pose, so like sitting down a little, just to lift off and push up to the sky, stretch the hands out. And then we're going to fold from the hips, bring the hands all the way down so that the hands come onto the floor. And then we're going to step back, big step with the right leg. Let the knee come down and the toes out, so get the balance there. Sit into the hips and stretch up to the sky. Exhale, soften, release, bring everything down. Curl the toes on the back foot and step back into your plank pose. Take a nice deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, bring in the knees, chest and chin to the floor, releasing slowly down. And then inhale, lift it up through the heart. Exhale, soften and release. Curl the toes, push up and back into downward facing dog. And we're in our downward facing dog again. Our right leg is going to come up this time. And then stepping it forwards to the top if you can. Left knee down, toes out. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands come back down again. Curl the toes on the back foot and step forward into our forward fold. Soft knees, hands to the heart. Push with the pelvic floor and the feet and everything upwards, upwards, upwards. And then exhale, bringing it all the way back down. Hands to the floor, left leg back. Knee down, toes out, sit in, stretch up. Exhale, hands coming back down again. Curl the toes on the back, step back, take a breath in. Exhale, the knees, chest and chin to the floor, release everything. Inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, lengthen down. Curl the toes, push up and back, into downward dog. Nice stretch there, and then the left leg's going to come up, and all the way up to the top of the mat. Right knee down, toes out. Inhale, stretch up and out. Exhale, hands come back down. Curl the toes in the back and step forward. Soft knees, big long stretch up to the sky. That's our first sun salute done. We'll keep going all the way back down again. Right leg's coming back. The knee down, toes out. Inhale, sit in, stretch up. This time, bring the hands to the heart. Curl the toes on the back and lift the back knee up. And stretch up into a high lunge. That's your challenge. And then see if we can fold the hands all the way down, keeping that back knee lifted. And see, can we step all the way back into our plank pose. Taking a breath in. And as we breathe out, bringing the knees, chest and chin to the floor, coming down to lower down. Inhale, lifting through the heart. Exhale, releasing and curl, bringing everything down. Curl the toes, pushing up and back into downward facing dog. Nice big breath in and out. And then the right leg comes up high. Step it up to the top of the mat. Left knee down. Inhale, sit in, stretch up. Then the hands come to prayer position. Let's curl the toes under and step up into our high lunge. If that's not working for you today, you just stay in the low lunge and just stretch up through the arms and hold. It's still a really great pose for that back hip flexor. And then we're going to bring the hands back down through the heart to the front of the mat and stepping forwards to come forwards up the mat into a forward fold. Nice soft knees, hands to the heart. Push in through the feet and lift up and off. Very good. And then soften and fold everything back down again. Left leg's going back this time. Left leg back, knee down, toes out. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale. This time we're bringing the left hand down to the floor and the right hand up. So we're coming into our twist. And then releasing the right hand down. Curl the toes, stepping back, taking your breath in. And as you exhale, knees, chest, and chin to the floor, release everything. Inhale, lift up through the heart center. Exhale, release. Curl the toes, push up and back. Now we're in downward dog. And then stepping forward with the left leg. Right knee down, toes out. And we can come up for a little stretch and then bringing the right hand down and the left hand up into our twist on this side. And then releasing left hand down, curl the toe, step forward. Nice soft knees, hands to the heart, push with the feet, stretch all the way up and out. And then exhale, let's go around one more time, third time around. Right leg back, knee down, toes out. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, this time hands come down to the hips. Curl the toes on the back. Step up into this your high lunge. But we're going to bring a little bit more of a challenge into it, bringing the hands to the heart. And then we're going to do our twist here. So right elbow is going to go to right leg, if that's possible. Push through the back heel. And we're coming into a bit of a sort of a balancing twist here. And then from here, we're going to gently come back to center. Inhale, stretch it up, bring the hands all the way down to the floor, and then we're stepping back again into plank pose, taking a breath in, breath out as the knees, chest, and chin come to the floor. Release, lift up through the heart. Exhale, release, push up and back. Very good. Right leg comes forward up the mat. That's it. Let your left knee come down, get your high lunge or your, can't think straight, extended lunge there. And then hands come into that prayer position. Curl the toes on the back leg, step up. Now that might be enough, just come up and do a big stretch there. Or we can do our twist where we turn and place the elbow onto the leg. It's quite a tricky one. And we're pushing through that back heel to support us. And then from there, we're coming to center, bringing the hands down, stepping forwards. So we're back into that forward fold. Bend the knees deeply, hands to the heart. Push with the feet. Inhale, stretch up and out. Exhale all the way down. So that was the right side. We're going to take the left leg back now. Knee down, toes out. Inhale, stretch up. And then from here, we're bringing the hands back down to the hips. Stepping the foot up. And then taking a little kind of shimmy. So we step that foot up the mat. We let the back heel come down. Put it this way so you can see it. That's it. And then here, we're straightening out that front leg. We might bring even the hand onto the top of the thigh. We're going to push that leg back. So we're coming into this kind of triangle shape. Yeah. I'm only going that way so you can see me, so don't have to turn around. And then from here, we're going to bring the right hand onto the inside of the right leg and the left hand up to the sky. Big stretch. And then from here, we're going to bend that front knee to come down. We're bringing our hands down to the floor. Shimmying both legs back into plank, so we're into our push-up pose. And then knee, chest, and chin to the floor, releasing everything down. Inhale, lift up through the heart. Exhale, soften and release. Push with the hands, come up into downward facing dog. And now the left leg steps forward up the mat. And we can do our little extended lunge there, stretch everything up. And that feels so easy now, nice compared to the other one. We're going to step that back leg up a little. So we're getting into this position where we can drop that heel down and ready for our triangle pose. We're going to bring our front leg, we're pushing that hip back so the hips are moving back through space and it's sending us over. And then we're releasing the left hand down in front of the left knee and stretching up through the right hand. So looking for a triangle shape. If it's very tight in the back of the legs, keep a micro bend on the front leg. Lovely. And then we're going to bend that front knee so you can catch with the hands back up. Zoom, lift the back heel, turn the foot, bring the hands down to Frame the front foot and step forwards into forward fold. Bend the knees, hands to the heart, and skyrocket up and out. Big circle with the hands. And just releasing the shoulders down. Very good. And so from here, we're going to do a little bit of standing work before we head back down onto the mat. And we're going to start with the legs out nice and wide, say about 4 feet apart. And the toes are pointing in and the heels out. We're going to drop our tailbone downwards and feel a little tone in the core. So we're not letting the tummy spill forward. And then we're lifting our shoulders up and back, and hands are on the hips. And then from here, we're keeping the toes slightly in, heels slightly out. We're lift and rotate our right foot out at 90 degrees. So we're coming into that kind of shape. And then we're going to bend the front knee. And as we bend the front knee, we're letting the knee go towards the middle of that front foot. But we're not letting the knee go over that foot. So if we end up with our knee going over our foot, we need to come up higher or go wider with the legs. As you do that, you might find yourself going that direction, the hips. We're going to see, can we keep opening out through the hips? So this knee is going towards the middle of the foot. This leg, thigh is rotating outwards as well. We're bringing our hands up to chest level and extending them out. We're into our warrior 2 pose for Virabhadrasana 2. And then we're going to see if we can inhale a little taller. Exhale, sit in a little bit. Inhale a little taller. And exhale in a little bit. One more inhale, lift. And exhale, sinking down into that legs. And should feel it really strong in the legs. We're going to look at over the longest finger on our right hand. Keep breathing, soften the shoulders. And then take the left hand to the right hand, get your arrow, pull it back. Where is my truth going to take me? Be fearless. Now we're going to bring both hands, I don't know what to do, bring both hands down to the center, back to the hips, and turn the feet to center. And so we're back into that nice standing default position. And then we're going to take the back toes in slightly, heel is out, lift and rotate the left foot at 90 degrees. Now, if you've gone out very wide, you might need to come in a bit more. See how you go. And then when we're going to start to bend that knee, we're going to check, where's the knee going? Is it going out to the side, or is it going over the longest, the middle toe, maybe it's the longest one, the middle toe on that left foot. And you sink it down into the hips, feeling a little bit of a stretch in the hips and the thighs. And then from here, we're checking in that our tail is going straight down, our core is nicely toned, and then we're lifting and extending out through the hands and looking over the longest finger on the left hand. Inhale, lift a little, exhale, sit in a little. Inhale, lift, exhale, sit in. Inhale, lift, and exhale, sit in. Taking your time here. It's a strong pose. If you're finding it strong and it's hard to hold, that's really normal here. Keep opening out through the hips, sitting down, send the tail to the floor, keeping long in the back, soft shoulders, big smile. We get our bow and arrow again here, I think. We bring the hand around, grab the bow. What will your truth hit? And then from here, bring both hands up and around and circle back to the heart and onto the hips. Lift and rotate that front foot in and all of the hips. So we're now in this kind of like pigeon-toed with our toes slightly inwards and our heels slightly outwards. And we're going to stay here for a moment because we're going to lengthen from our hips up out through the front body, really nice and tall. And then we're going to lift the sit bones, and as the hips, the back of the hips, the back of the pelvis, the sit bones lifts, we fold like a giraffe at a drinking pool. And we might only go to here, that's fine. Go to wherever it feels, that you can keep your back long. Your thighs are nicely engaged. If you have space and you want to go out wider with the legs, that will give you a bit more space to come in deeper. If you're feeling like you have a lot of space, you can bring your hands down to the floor, so onto the fingertips or onto the flat hands. Keep length through the back body. Remember, we're minding our neck and our our ear, throat, whatever complex, I can remember, ear, throat, eye complex. And if we have space, we can sink in deeper and bring in the head down towards the floor. Even walk the hands in between the legs a little and bring the head back. If I do that, I'm going to lose all the nice long work I've been doing to open up my back body and keep my legs strong, so I won't go deeper here. And we're going to take 3 more breaths here, and we're using those breaths to see if we can send the sit bones up higher and soften and let go in the head and neck. When you get to the end of those 3 big breaths, use the hands to support you and go slow coming up so that you don't get dizzy. Bring your hands onto the tops of the thighs. Might even bend the knees a little bit to lift through the heart, inhaling, coming up to center. And then we're going to walk our feet, walk, step or jump, if you like, your feet all the way back. I'm doing that little kind of shuffle, yoga shuffle. And then we're going to do our eagle pose. So we've gone very wide here, but we're going to do our eagle pose now to bring everything back in and do a little bit of balancing. So for the eagle pose, we are going to imagine that we're sitting a little bit into a chair. So there's a kind of bend in softness into the knees, which is going to make it much easier. And then from here, we're going to get that little softness in the knees and bring the hands up and out like zombie. Turn the palms upwards, soft shoulders. Bring the right elbow over the left elbow, bend the elbows, and then either backs of the hands or towards each other. Maybe you catch hands. If that's really not working for you, you can just have, I don't know, just have the 2 hands together like in one. Okay. Did I say right over left? Yeah. And then we're going to, once we've got that, we're lifting up through the elbows and sitting down a little bit more into the chair. And then that might be enough. But if you want to challenge it, lift the left heel off the mat and bring it around the right leg, maybe blinking in your toes or using the toes as a kickstand. And you're sitting into your eagle pose. And you're breathing in, nice long deep breath in. And you're breathing out and seeing if you can sink in a little bit lower. Breathing in length, breathing out stability. And then on the next breath out, release the arms down. Woo, don't fall over. And send your wings up, your leg up, like the Karate Kid. And then the feet, both feet down. We're back into standing. Nice. So now you know what to do. Let's try the other side. We're going to again sit in like we're in that little chair. Bring in our zombie arms. Turn the palms up, soft shoulders, lots of space in the head and neck. This time left over right. See where it goes. It might be different on this side with the hands. See where you get with them. And then you're sitting down into your chair, so that'll help. And then lifting, peeling up the right heel and lifting the right leg over the left. Maybe you curl, tuck the toes in behind the calf, or you use it as a kickstand to help you balance. Lift up through the elbows, so drawing the elbows up and sitting down, keeping the tone in the core to keep your low back long, and keep breathing. Maybe you sink in a little lower on your exhale. And the end of the next exhale, release the hands down to open up your wings and stand up tall on one leg, and then release both hands and coming back into mountain pose. Take a moment here to stand really tall. Squeeze the shoulders up, release the shoulders down. Let your head and neck be soft. And then we're going to inhale both arms all the way up, float them up. And fold with a really soft knees, and you can kind of ragdoll nearly down if you like, into your forward fold again. This time we're going to walk the hands over to one side, which gives the side body a little stretch. Walk the hands back to the center and then over to the other side. And then back to the center. Pedal out the legs a little bit. And then from here we're going to come back into, let's turn sideways so I have space. Back into our downward dog. So we can just step back one leg and the other into downward dog, or we can come back into our table and then lift off into downward dog. And once we get into downward dog, we're just pedaling out the legs. We're going to have a nice soft downward dog here. So keep a softness in the elbows, softness in the knees, a little bit of play. We're nearly at the end. We're softening things out. And then yogi's choice. If there's one more little move you want to do, if you want to, do your three-legged dog or anything like that, do it while we're here. And then we're going to make our way down onto sitting on the mat. So coming into sitting in a comfortable position with your legs out in front. I hope that's a comfortable position. Find your sit bones. And we're going to do, I'm keeping my knees bent because if I straighten my legs, I start to slouch. And I want to keep my sit bones in underneath me. So slight bend in the knees will help with that. Keep the toes curled back so feet are active. Hands come into prayer position. Inhale, stretch it up towards the ceiling, open everything out. And then bring the upper body forwards over the legs. Release the hands down. Maybe they go to the feet or the legs, the back of the knees. Doesn't really matter. Or even down by the legs, just on the mat. We can use the next 3 breaths to stay really tall here. Keep that connection between, the head and the neck, the back of the neck, lifting up and back. Or we can soften and roll down and slouch down and let ourselves collapse into it. Enjoy that sense of the upper body softening over the nice strong legs and the steady sit bones. Whichever one you're doing, taking your time to use the hands to support you, coming gently back up. And then we're going to do another pose, which we kind of rarely do. It can be a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. We're going to draw one leg up and out to the side. And so if you find that when you're doing this, this leg does not want to come down all the way to the floor. So some people will be able to bring it right up here and the leg will come down onto the floor. If you find that that's not the case, that if it is for me, that leg likes to stay up high, that's okay. We're not going to be here long. You can just leave it like that. You can draw it down a little bit further. That gives you a bit more space. But whichever way you do, we want to keep that left leg that's out in front staying on the same line that it's been on. So we don't want that leg coming out to the side here. We want to keep that leg nice and active. And then we're going to do the same thing we did the last pose. We're going to lift up through. So we're going to give somebody a hug, create space and length, push into the sit bones. And then we're leading with the chest, with the heart coming forward. And then we're going to connect our throat down to our heart, find our alignment. And then we can either stay tall like that, or we can sink in again, as we did on the other side, and let the natural weight of the head and the upper body sink in down over the legs. Either way, we're just going to hold it for a little few breaths. And then gently drawing leading with the heart, coming back up, drawing everything back up to center, using the hand to bring that leg back to center and sending it out in front. And we're back into our stick pose. We're going to draw the left leg now up and out to the side. So we're coming into that same position to get set up, where we're sitting nice and tall, but this time over the right leg, keeping the right foot active. Hands come to the heart, stretch up to the ceiling, open up. So you're going to hug your lost friend And then lift everything forward and then release the hands either down to the shin, the knee, the toes maybe. And we're inhaling, keeping length in the upper body. And then option to stay with that nice kind of active length up through the spine, or soften and fold a little deeper in. And then when you're ready, gently using the hands to walk yourself back up to sitting. Draw both legs out in front. And then we're going to come into line on the back. And we're going to just draw the knees so that the heels are in towards the body. And the back is really nice and long. And that low back can be quite flat on the ground. And we're bringing the hands down by the side with the palms of hands facing downwards, and the shoulder blades are rolling back and down. We're going to push in with the feet to lift up through the hips and arch up through the body into our bridge pose. I'm going to take a breath or two here. And we can use that breath to keep opening and creating space in the hip flexors. We can bring awareness once again to the throat and the neck, how it is in this position, between the heart and the head. What's the big truth for you today? And then very gently release the spine back down on the mat. Draw the knees into the chest to give them a little hold towards you, from side to side. And then we're going to release those legs down and stretch them out down the mat. We're going to bring the hands down by the side of the body and just hook the thumbs in underneath the bum. On this kind of optional one here, this is our fish pose. We can push our elbows in, and as we do that, we lift our chest. Mind you, if you have a ponytail like me, that doesn't get stuck. And we're drawing ourselves on the back of our head. Now, at all times, there should be no pressure on the neck. We can, use the elbows to help support us and lift us here. Very little pressure on the neck. And we're breathing into the chest and to open up through the chest and the front of the throat. And one more breath there. And then softly release everything down, down, down. Draw the knees into the chest again and hug the knees into the chest while I move my computer. Then you can do a little rock side to side. You do a little happy baby pose there. Doing a little bit of work just with the moving through the knees and softening things out. If there's anything that the body is still longing for, you can do it there. And then very gently, when you're ready, bringing yourself back down into your relaxation pose. And once you come into that, and if you want to grab a blanket, I'm grabbing my socks. If you want to put anything warm on, do. And you're going to just spend a few minutes here, letting the body absorb the work that you've put in, all of the benefits of that practice. So good for you. So we're going to start now to bring the awareness around the body again. Do a little body scan. And we're going to start over on the right hand side of the body. So taking your time to just notice and feel the right side of the body. And then bring awareness into the right hand, the thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. All the fingers in the right hand. Back of the hand, the palm of the hand, the wrist, elbow, upper arm, right side of the rib cage, right side of the waist, right hip, right thigh, right knee, right calf, right ankle, the heel, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, baby toe. All the toes on the right foot, all the right foot, all the right leg. Letting go on the right side of the body, letting go all the way through from the toes to the fingers on the right, and noticing how the right side of the body feels. What is the right side of the body telling you right now? Maybe it's not telling you anything at all. Just listening to that as well. It's not lovely. Your body isn't complaining and it just feels nice. And then scanning the left side, so bringing that awareness over to the left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, back of the hand, palm of the hand, wrist, upper arm, skip the lower arm, upper arm, shoulder, left side of the rib cage, the waist, the hip, left thigh, knee, calf and ankle, heel, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, baby toe, all the toes on the left, all the left foot, all the left leg, all off the left side of the body, let it go, let it go. Bringing awareness to the toes on the right, the toes on the left, all of the toes, both heels and ankles, both calves and knees, the thighs and hips, pelvic floor and the glutes and all of all the muscles around the pelvis and the sacral area, the low belly, back of the hips, all of the belly, the navel, upper belly, the rib cage, back of the rib cage, sides of the rib cage, front of the rib cage, breasts and chest, collarbones, back of the shoulder blades, back of the arms, all the fingers, both elbows, both shoulders, back of the neck, top of the head, all of the scalp, all of the forehead, all of the small muscles around the eyes and jaws, all around the eyes, the weight of the eyes, the jaws, the throat, the heart, the eyebrow center, the throat, the eyebrow center, the crown, the heart, the solar plexus, sacral, base, the heart, the eyebrow center. Your own intention, your own great love or truth, and letting go of that, even that, allowing yourself to just be, allowing yourself to be in the space that you're in right now, be with yourself. Very gently you can bring your awareness back, or you can choose to stay in a space that you've created there for yourself and enjoy being, just being, knowing that that's enough. The trees and the breeze and the sea, just living, breathing. Amazing. Now if you do choose to come back now, if you need to rock and roll, breathe a little deeper. Bring in your own sense of your own intention again. Or maybe if something came to you in the past, that'd be amazing, bringing that in. And then moving your fingers and toes, noticing your body and the surrounds, how warm you are, how the air feels on your skin, and moving your hands so that you can rub your hands together and create a warm space. And then today, maybe with the eyes closed, bring those hands onto your throat and your heart and see how that feels. You don't have to put pressure, it can just be a gentle touch. And maybe bringing them onto your unopened eyes and gently open your eyes. And just bringing it with you, that lovely yoga feeling. And then whether you're staying where you are or you're rock and rolling, I'm bringing my hands to you, that'd be a miracle. My hands to my heart to say that my light recognizes your light. And I'm very honored that you are still practicing with me. And I hope you've enjoyed this call. Namaste.